I mean, even a child could interpret that this clearly states that no turns or bends should be tolerated in this direction. We have roadblocks, cones, and bright caution tapes, clearly still indicating that turns shouldn't be made in that direction. But users just ignore them almost as if they are non-existent. Regardless of the bold no parking signs, we still find a lot of cars parked illegally on the road, and the road officials are just watching. Come with me now as I take you to the second spot. Okay, now at the second spot, I am here on the major road leading to the Asokoro District Central area and the FCDA NTA headquarters. As you can see over here, we have a T-junction. When coming to this junction, one needs to apply caution, as accidents can easily happen when one is driving on speed or maybe even just recklessly. When coming out of this road, taking the right turn may be convenient, but it is the wrong way. So one needs to apply caution, as driving on speed or recklessly could cause an accident. I mean, it's a bit confusing. One driver driving in, the other driving out. It's very confusing. And for some, taking the right turn might be more convenient, but it is the wrong way. You take the left turn, merge with the flow of traffic, and drive cautiously till you arrive at your destination. Stick with me as I take you to the third spot. Here we are just outside the FCDA. This road is a bit confusing as there are no road signs to guide the road users. For those coming out of the FCDA, taking a right turn is wrong because that's a one-way road that leads straight to the NTA and central area. This road is a bit too narrow for the amount of traffic that occurs here regularly. For those driving out and the others driving in, have to apply caution and speed reduction in order to avoid collision. Take a look at the confusion that usually happens on this road. Cars move in this direction as well as come from the other end. Imagine a case where these drivers are speeding, drunk, or just being careless. It could result in a very terrible accident. As we can see, the road on the right side of the FCDA has no sign indicating that users of this road should not turn in that direction.
Who's in front?
This road might be more convenient for some drivers or shorter, but we just have to obey the signs. There are signs, you don't ignore these things. Even if there are no signs, sometimes you have to use your common sense because it's a very narrow road. As we can see, we already have somebody parked here to get water. Before he gets back, an accident could occur. Someone coming with speed from the other one-way road might not know that he's here, might not be expecting to see a vehicle here and clash into the other vehicle.
This issue of infrastructure and furnitures are very critical. And you can see in the FCT, for example, in this road that was now made to be a one-way, the signages are there, but people keep complaining that nobody told them that this is one way, when the signages are there to guide you. And that is in addition to the our own kind of reach out to people like the media houses like NTA, even radio, even social media. We are all there, and our men are physically stationed there to equally direct people. But notwithstanding, you see a lot of people who want to take a chance and go against one way, and that is not expected of a driver who is supposed to ensure that he's not only saving his own life, but he is also has the responsibility of saving the life of others. The tires are not there to actually do anything. Most of those tires you are seeing are actually used by the police in the night for their own patrol. But in our own case, we don't really require a tire, because if you put a tire, you are only reducing the distance of the road. So we don't really need any tire. There is nothing like tire or barrier in our own cases. Most of those places where you see those things are probably the ones that are used for night patrol in order to narrow the road so that the police will have the opportunity to do their stop and search. We are trying to ensure that people does not endanger themselves while involved in the act of driving in the FCT. That is why we always make sure that the safety measures are carried out so that people does not get to injure themselves or even injure people that are on the road. They can be pedestrian, they can be other road users, so you wouldn't know. And the act of the Abuja master plan, especially the transportation master plan, is already designed in that way that people should access certain areas in a much safer way. What we are trying to do is to ensure that people does not come into the major road directly, because those roads are actually speed roads, and you have no control with the people that are coming at sometimes 80, 100 kilometers per hour, which is the actually maximum allowable speed on that road. So to avoid that is to ensure that we don't allow access from those kind of road. Instead, you have to go and take, and that is how it is everywhere in the world. You don't need, because I'm seeing the place that let me just make it sharp. No, you have to do the real thing, taking access. Okay, if you look at all the way from Gwarinfa down to Sheraton, you have never seen any infrastructure where that infrastructure is taking asset. Look at my office here. I'm not taking asset directly or hitting that road directly because it doesn't work that way. We always make sure that the safety measures are carried out so that people does not get to injure themselves or even injure people that are on the road. They can be pedestrian, they can be other road users, so you wouldn't know. And the act of the Abuja master plan, especially the transportation master plan, is already designed in that way that people should access certain areas in a much safer way than what they think is reasonably correct. But you have to go around because that is the acceptable way of having access to your own area. Ordinarily, the driver has a lot of responsibilities. That is why for you to be a driver, you must be not only physically fit, but equally mentally sound. Because what you are carrying is equally not only your lives, but the life of others. Not only the passengers that are inside your vehicle, but even other road users. Because you can crash your own vehicle and go and jump into other innocent moving vehicles or even pedestrian and equally go and injure them, or in some cases even you can have fatalities. So because of that, as a driver, once you engage your vehicle and you are inside, you know that your next line of action is to communicate with the road signages, road marking, and road signals, because these are the only thing. And in some cases, while there are traffic officers or traffic warden or any other law enforcement agency that is there to guide you to follow the traffic. So driving is a lot of responsibility because as you are on the wheel, every part of your system is working. Your eyes, your ears, and you have to have 100% concentration. Even your nose, everything, you must, I say all sense of all your organs must be working. And they must be working correctly so that you can be able to sense danger, to read danger, to see danger. because when you are driving, all these issues come to view. So a driver must first of all communicate with the road. How? You have to look at the road signages. Is the signage telling you to slow down, that in this place you can only speed at 100, maybe at 30 kilometers per hour, 50 kilometers per hour, or is it telling you that you have reached a pedestrian crossing? Or is it telling you you reach an area where animals are crossing? Or you reach a place where probably is a slippery area, or is a gradient, or is a railway crossing, etc., etc. So you must communicate with the signages because they are your only guidance.
For cars coming in and the others going out, caution must be applied. For this is a very narrow road, and accidents could easily occur. There's a sign there that clearly states no turning right. Learn to understand and interpret your road signs properly. Obey your road signs. The signs are not insignificant. It's back to you, Fatima.
The road can be a little confusing, true, but a good driver should be able to adjust to any new road situation. This is key. Still on that particular road, we got more insight on the road and also some tips for you as you drive.
In life, there are certain roads that are designed to ensure that people move completely without stoppage. And this is one of the roads that, this is the second of its kind. The first of its kind is the Northern Parkway. This one is the Southern Parkway. Northern Parkway is the one you get from after the mosque, around the Sheikh Musa Eradua Center, stretching through under the bridge of Zone 4, under the Wuse Market Bridge, going through on top of the Mabushi Bridge, going straight to the Life Camp roundabout, turning back this way. If you observe that road, you go straight. You don't even stop anywhere. You can slide off and bend, but you don't have to go around in a cycle. This one we are in now around the NTA headquarters here in Gariki Area 11 is the Southern Parkway, connecting the southern fling of the city. It stretches all the way after the NTA. It keeps going down. It goes down to Area 3 area. It goes down through Durumi and other areas. The road is built in a manner that it gives you the beauty of driving. Then you can drive round without even putting your leg on the brake. Very beautiful road here. Take for instance, you are leaving from the NTA and you are going round to go and turn from the other area behind the edges. You just go round, you turn, you get to where we are now, around the FCDA and the NTA Enterprise area. You go round to the Economical Center, you get to the mosque. From the mosque, you go behind the Radio Center. You just take a sweet turn, not applying brake at all. And the irony of it is that people don't understand that in this road, you can even spend at least 2 minutes you have gone round. 2 minutes you are around because you don't apply brake. Nobody will obstruct you from any point. It's a sweet, beautiful road all through. But some persons who don't understand this sweetness of the road want to cut corners and go against traffic. See, if you go round, I will agree with you that the road signs, if you look around NT headquarters, we have road signs. And the minister had made it very clear those signs are not bold enough. That we must make those signs very, very bold. If you look at the other one, there's a green signboard there guiding people on what to do, but not as bold as we expected. I agree with you. We must make these signs very bold, but the signs are clear, but not as bold as we expected. But when somebody is coming out from this stage here, you know the Southern Parkway concept. These particular men who have been here for not less than 6 months or 7 months. The minister commissioned the road for 2 particular months. There was no enforcement. And we keep telling people just advocacy round. After advocacy, we commence enforcement. Then we had to arrest and keep here. And the men here have been here 247. And yet, in the face of all of this, telling people every day for over 7 months, people still want to break the rule. It's a sweet road. Look at the road. You just come here, you take this way. You see that almost no vehicle is turning. Now, look at the vehicle there. This vehicle may likely want to do something, but people are watching him. He had to turn. Had to turn. That's the irony of it. The vehicle had to turn and do what is right. The appeal we will make is for people to just enjoy the road and do what is right. If we are to take a drive around here, I bet you we will drive round the mosque, return back of Aegis, return to FCTA, down to NTA, we are not going to spend 3 minutes. A sweet, sweet road at that. So there are enough signs, but the signs need to be bold. Bold that people can see from afar. Enforcement team are always pinned down here 247. The ones who go to Aegis here and are trying to quickly just divert into FCDA. They want to just divert into FCDA, and the guy will keep turning them and showing them that they must go around and fulfill the concept of the Southern Parkway here. I agree with you. Whatever sign we have will be bold. If you are in speed, accident even happen on the best of road. Accident even happen anywhere. If you are coming here to join this road, you slow down there. If the guy is entering, the guy enter here, you die, you come out peacefully. But you must be patient enough with time. This one is coming alone now. The other ones who are coming in to go to NTA, to go to FCDA, to go to Aegis, this one is coming. The one has slowed down now. Watch carefully, and this one is entering very sweetly here. You see the beauty of it. Now look at something wrong here. Taxi drivers looking for passenger. Are you seeing them here looking for passenger? You see them? They are slowing down the entire movement here. This one is confused, not even knowing where to go. He wants to go somewhere. He don't even understand the road. Are you getting me now? He wants to go somewhere. Now he's slowing down everybody. Now he ought to be on the slow lane to even inquire. Now he's going to that other lane. That's an officer there. If you can pan a little, officer is there now, getting angry with everybody. He's so upset that people are not obeying the rules. You can't park here. They want to park here. He's so upset. You see people now coming here. Those who are coming this way now. That particular man now wants to brake. Should he brake? Yes. Should he break the rule? He's going to meet someone there. You see it now? He needs to go, but he's slowing down to slow down, looking for passenger. Are you seeing now? Looking for passenger and watching if he can get passenger. The sad irony of it. There have been enough advocacy. If something have been done for over 6-7 months, 6-7 months every day here, and when you keep saying, now, look, now, you see, she's going against traffic. Now, they're going to stop her there. She's going against traffic. You watch that now. You watch that now. The man is stopping her and telling her to go back. All the cars are coming in one direction. One person is going against traffic in that direction. Now the person is being turned. Look at the arrow now. Traffic is being slowed. Very dangerous turn here. You observe this. Very, very dangerous turn here. These people have been here year in, year out, and yet people just don't want. Now she's going there. In less than 3 minutes, you will see the lady will come back here. Or 2 minutes, if she can take her back, she will be through with where she's going to. You can see the VIO man is going to warn him. He's warning him now to please vacate. That is wrong. Advocacy, if it is to arrest, he can jump in and arrest. But he chooses the part of constant advocacy, telling them to do what is right. And the more he keeps speaking, the more some guys keep breaking the law. He has been there. Look at the way he has been moving since. He has constantly, until he will be changed. He walks, he doesn't sit, he doesn't rest. Now, he's telling the other man that, hey guy, if you want to go here, go here. If you want to go, look at him telling the other man, you can't park here. Either you go in, or you go to somewhere. You can't park on the speed lane movement point here. It's a sweet concept here. And the lawmaker called me and said, look, she so loved this road that sometimes she want to gist with friends. She just pick them on the road and just drive around. And they just like Abuja. Sweet road. With enough advocacy over time, clamping can come in. But for now, we do few arrests of those who are coming on a long stretch from the mosques very stubbornly. And we do more of our advocacy, telling people, if you watch all this throughout this interview now, he has been talking to them, conscientizing them. I think it's beautiful. Those who are caught will be taken to VIO office here, DRTS office, particularly the one at the Secretariat here, and they will make to pay very severe fine, ranging from 5,000 to about 30,000 naira. So be patient. It's very good. This man wants to come in now. He must stop. You watch him now? He's stopping, he watch, then he's coming in. Next man is coming in, the other guy must stop. Are you getting me now? This guy must slow down. This one have gone against traffic by coming this way. That other man has slowed down. This other one is coming. That man has pushed this car this other way. When this car goes in, that other car goes in. It's just about being patient. That's number one. Number two, you don't need to overspeed. If you overspeed at this point here, it's a very speed-moving point here. But those who are connecting from all this area, look at this beautiful driving. He gets there, he watches carefully, he goes in. The road is free, other people had come, they've watched slowly, they are all going in. It's sweet if you learn it. Very sweet if you learn the process. It's going to help everyone. If it's sweet if you learn the process, and it's lot beautiful for every one of us here. That's what we will do. Then the other one is for us to master road signs. Master road signs. As you're driving, you check for road signs. Look at road signs, check for them. When you see them, you follow them. It's very beautiful. Even if they may not be as bold as we want them, the kind of one we see crossing major roads here, let's still try to look at road signs and obey road signs very much. The other one is for us to master our own road traffic book. It's very important here.
Ignorance is never an excuse. Know the road signs and obey them immediately. If you understand the road, your trip becomes easier and hassle-free. As always, you can follow the program on our social media handle on Twitter at RoadMattersNTA or send a mail to roadmatters@nta.ng. Until the next episode, I am Fatima Omar. Do the right thing as you drive, because change can and should start with you for a safer road. Bye-bye.
Nigeria, a nation of great people, different tribes and languages, yet we are united in our diversity. All over the world, Nigerians are known to be very hardworking and resilient people. In our history as a nation, there have been many storms, but just like the eagle, we always soar very high above the storms. Together, as a nation, we stood against Ebola virus disease in 2014, and we conquered. Together as a nation, we shall stand against COVID-19, and we shall surely triumph. Let's do our part as citizens. Obey the health authorities, stay at home, practice social distancing and proper hygiene. When this is over, and very soon it will be, we shall dance again at the Calabar Carnival, the Eyo Festival, Celebration, Ojudeoba Festival, and Aragongo Festival. When this is over, and very soon it will, we shall flock the beaches again. We shall attend our music concerts again. We shall invite the world once again at the Lagos City Marathon. When this is over, and very soon it will be, we can return to our hustle and bustle. We will gather at our churches and mosques. We shall return to our schools and institutions. Our hope is alive. We are Nigeria, and together we shall rise again. Nigeria Film Corporation, powering possibilities.
Do you not know that our enemies have no face? They are indigents of no state. They come from no place. And if this boat capsizes, every one of us will go under. So when the drums sound, let everybody answer. Do not say, I am the Iroko, when the forest is burning. Do not say, I am the Obeche, when the forest is burning. Our differences will not stop us from perishing together. So when the drums sound, let everybody answer.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. Or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV.
It's the beginning of another working week here in the nation's capital, and we're glad to have you join us on the News at 10, the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I am Abdul Malik Adio.
And I am Noli Nebel Ame. It is a pleasure to welcome you to the News at 10. Let's begin with the headlines.
Federal government declares joint health sector union strike as ill-timed and illegal.
Presidency accuses former President Obasanjo of attempts to divide the nation.
And fraud prevention experts to recover unremitted 1.2 trillion naira to federal government coffers.
Plus, NCDC records lowest daily statistics in 5 months with 79 new cases of COVID-19 in the country.
Thanks for staying tuned. Now, the presidency has responded to recent comment made by former President Olusegun Obasanjo, saying such statements are an attempt to divide the nation, while President Muhammadu Buhari continues to build the nation. The report.
In a statement signed by Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media, Garba Shehu, contrary to assertions by a few analysts, the recent speech in which President Buhari advised West African presidents against tenure elongation beyond constitutional limits has been consistent with his long-held views on the need to adhere to the rule of law. The recent increase in leaders proposing or actually extending term limits is a cause for concern among Democrats in the sub-region, given its propensity for destabilizing the states and the region. Therefore, President Buhari's advocacy is consistent with his principles and in line with the current policies of his administration, and indeed that of the ECOWAS Charter, that term limits must be respected and that the change of government is only permissible through the ballot box. Having cleared this misconception, the statement adds, Chief Obasanjo should sheath the sword and rest the pretense about the Messiah who has misled him to pronounce, often wrongly, as he did in the 2019 elections, about the life and death of Nigerian governments. As some commentators are already suggesting, Chief Obasanjo should, in accordance with his mantra as a statesman, get involved with problem solving.
President Muhammadu Buhari's assumption of office in 2015 prevented Nigeria from becoming a failed state after a long stretch of rapacious and ruthless leadership.
Now, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed stated this in a statement signed by Senior Special Assistant, Segun Adeyemi. Here's the details.
Minister in the statement recalled that President Buhari came into office at a time when the country was bombarded by insurgents who occupied a part of the country's territory, and a moment that the nation's wealth had been looted dry, with little or nothing to show for the nation's huge earnings, especially in the area of infrastructure. He said it is therefore a cruel irony that those who frittered away a great opportunity to put Nigeria on a sound socio-economic footing at a time of financial buoyancy, in those who planted a seed of insecurity in some parts of the country, today are the same ones pointing accusing fingers at a reformist government. The minister said their situation would have been much worse, but for the deft management of resources, unprecedented fight against corruption, determined battle against insurgency and banditry, as well as the abiding courage of President Buhari in piloting the ship of the state. Nigeria, he said, is not a failed state, but a nation that is courageously tackling its challenges and building a solid infrastructure for socio-economic development. Lai Mohammed maintained that no government in the history of the country has done so much with little as the Buhari administration is doing, with 60% less national income. With the COVID-19 pandemic forcing a global shutdown and a drastic fall in global oil demand, Nigeria lost 60% of its earnings. Yet, the administration has ensured that not a single worker has been retrenched, paid salaries as and when due, and has continued to build infrastructures like roads, rails, bridges, and power, among others. Lai Mohammed said Nigeria is on the road to greatness, despite the challenges confronting the nation, citing the hard push towards food sufficiency, the modernization of the rail system, the nationwide construction of roads and bridges, reform in the oil and gas sector, the unprecedented anti-corruption battle, diversification of the economy, and a renewed effort to ensure a steady power supply, anchored on a three-phase project that is expected to deliver 25,000 megawatts of electricity in the next few years. The minister thanked Nigerians for their perseverance and understanding, especially against the backdrop of the stifling effects of the COVID-19 pandemic on the economy. He concluded that those who genuinely love Nigeria will support rather than subvert the committed leadership the nation now enjoys.
Now to health. The federal government has declared the strike by the joint health sector unions as unnecessary, ill-timed and illegal. It has therefore directed the various unions in the health sector operating under the umbrella of Joint Health Sector Unions, JOHESU, not to continue the strike, saying the Ministry of Labour and Employment has prevented the dispute with the ongoing conciliation initiated last week. The Ministry of Labour and Employment says going ahead with the action would be in clear breach of the ILO principles and conventions on strike and Section 18 of the Trades Dispute Act (CAP) T8 laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004. The Minister of Labour and Employment urged JOHESU not to arm twists or intimidate the federal government that has shown clear commitment to tackling the challenges in the sector, as evidenced by the huge resources it has been pouring into the sector since the coronavirus pandemic. The statement therefore urged the leadership of the various unions making up JOHESU to have a rethink on the strike by putting the welfare of their patients and Nigeria First.
And now to health matters. The new data coming in from the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, shows that 79 new cases of COVID-19, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 56,256 in the country. Of this 76 new confirmed cases, Lagos comes in first with 30, and Kaduna comes in second with 17, and Ogun comes in third with 7. Anambra has 5, Kanu has 4, and Katsina and the Federal Capital Territory and Akwa Ibom confirmed 3 new cases respectively. Now, Oyo and Rivers have 2 new cases each, with Delta, Plateau and Ondo confirming 1 new case each. On the total case per state chart, Lagos still tops the chart with 18,611 cases, and the Federal Capital Territory comes in next with 5,447 cases. Oyo comes in third with 3,221, while Plateau State follows with 3,098 cases. There are now 11,022 active cases, while 44,152 patients have been discharged, with 1,082 deaths recorded so far.
Still on coronavirus, one of the attendant consequences of the coronavirus pandemic is that it created fear of visiting hospitals or healthcare facilities for medical attention, even when necessary.
Indeed, Akima Aliu takes a look at the situation in the Federal Capital Territory and the level of fear among people.
Since the outbreak of coronavirus in Nigeria, going to the healthcare facility comes with a phobia for many people, as the hospital to them could be a place of contact with sick people who might be carriers of the virus or other infections, amongst other concerns.
People are scared. I can't even go to Gwagwalada, especially Gwagwalada, at the moment because of I know that place is an isolation center.
And some even believe that when they go to the hospital, they can be tested positive and come back and maybe die before that time out of fear.
With the fears no doubt established, Dr. Zainab Suleiman, a medical doctor at Wuse District Hospital, Abuja, advised the general public not to deprive themselves from seeking medical attention.
The hospital has ensured that all patients are to be masked, both the doctors and both the patients. So even patients that are admitted, they have no fear, they have nothing to worry, because there's a considerable number of distance between every patient to also reduce the risk of transmission. Anybody that is at risk or possible, might be a possible carrier, they are usually isolated.
The fear, however, is experiencing a decline with increase in awareness and adequate information amongst people.
When you take all the necessary precautions, you wash your hands, you clean yourself, you put the mask.
People were right to have the phobia, but now the hospitals are safe to visit.
Others maintain that taking personal responsibility to stay safe when visiting the hospital or any other place outside your comfort zone remains key to protecting oneself from contracting coronavirus and preventing the spread. In Abuja, Hakimat Aliu, NTA News.
Thank you so much, Hakimat. This News at 10 is broadcast live on the network service of the NTA here in Abuja, and still ahead.
Senate Committee on INEC assess INEC's preparedness for Saturday's election in Edo State. Stay with us for more news.
Thank you for staying with us on the News at 10 on NTA News 24. Now, South-South cooperation is the technical cooperation among developing countries located in the global South talking about countries in Asia, Africa, Latin America, and the Caribbean. And the United Nations, therefore, South-South cooperation celebrates and promotes the recent developments made by these regions and countries.
Now, in 2003, the United Nations declared December 19th as the United Nations Day for South-South Cooperation, but the day was moved to September 12 in 2011 to commemorate the day of Buenos Aires Plan of Action for promoting and implementing technical cooperation among developing countries. Now, joining us live in the studio to discuss the significance of this and follow-up issues is Dr. Philip Afar, Head of Department of History and Diplomatic Studies, University of Abuja. Dr. Afar, it's good to have you join us on the News at 10.
Good morning.
All right, now what does the United Nations Day for South-South Cooperation mean to the world? What's the significance and what are the notable characteristics of countries in the global South?
Yeah, the United Nations as a 1978 adopted in Buenos Aires what we call the Buenos Aires Action Plan for development of countries. They adopted that plan. The plan is meant to enhance the collaboration of South-South countries in driving their development. Now, what are the South-South countries? The South-South countries basically are countries that are mostly found in the south of the Tropic of Cancer. And although not geographically, it has to do with developing and underdeveloped countries. So the name South-South has to do with those countries that are not developed countries all over the world. Of course, we know that most of these countries are found in our continent. The entire continent of Africa falls under this bracket. Now, this South-South cooperation, like I said, was meant to engender development, the cooperation, collaboration of these countries amongst themselves to share ideas, share expertise, share technology to be able to come out of poverty. The riding currency among these countries is poverty. These countries are the poorest of the poor countries of the world. Now, they cannot compete at the same level with the developed nations of the world. So there was a need for them to come together, to collaborate, to share expertise, to share technologies, to share experiences, to see whether they can actually come out of poverty. They have been doing so well over the time. They have been doing so well. There have been this collaboration amongst these countries, like in Africa, in Asia, and there have also been collaboration with even the developed partners. That is the one we call the triangular collaboration, cooperation. That is the cooperation that is done between these poor countries and even the developed countries. The essence is to see how to bring them out of poverty and underdevelopment. Now, when you say what are the challenges these countries are facing, these countries, it's not as if these countries wouldn't have come out of underdevelopment for a long time. You notice that underdevelopment among these countries has been like a vicious cycle. It's a vicious cycle whereby time over time you see these countries struggling to come out of underdevelopment, but they are still stuck in underdevelopment. Why has it been so? We notice that most of these countries have single or few products in the international market. Let me give you an example of Nigeria. Single export product is one of the major challenges, major characteristics, and a challenge of the South-South countries. When you have single product in the international market, irrespective of how you strive to see yourself through into development, you notice that by the time the price of that product dropped in the international market, it torpedoes your economy. Look at what is happening to Nigeria and other countries in the South-South zone of the world. It is because the price of oil has dropped. Naturally, the economies of those countries are shaken to their foundations.
All right, Dr. Farr, it's good you're talking about some of these things. Some of the things you pointed out has to do with a single exporting, for a country like Nigeria, and exporting products to mention, and you talked about poverty and all of that, and actually talking about fostering relationships. Now, the question that readily comes to mind is, what difficulties do you think these developing countries have in their quest for deepening communication and cooperation for development?
Yes, the major difficulty they have is interference. You notice that even the South-South cooperation itself, the cooperation itself seems to be moderated by the Global North. So in moderating this cooperation, the Global North itself is not fair. In most cases, the Global North tends to frustrate the cooperation of the Global South. I want to give you an example. There was this issue of ECO, a single currency for West African countries. That single currency program went to a certain stage, and it almost was concluded by West African countries until we hear a story, a news emanating from Paris, that another ECO was in the works. And that threw the spanner into the works what the West African countries were trying to come up with by themselves. So most of the challenges we have with the South-South cooperation is interference by the Global North itself. The Global North, listen, this issue has to do with competition.
You're talking about the power nations.
Yes, the powerful nations of the world, the developed economies, are not so much interested in seeing the less developed economies come up to their level.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Now, how much impact has the South now been responding to problems of the least developed countries? And how successful do you think countries in the global South have been working together for mutual growth?
Yes, we have a recent example during the Ebola issue. We saw the intervention of countries like Cuba in other countries in the global South in helping them to manage the Ebola epidemic that was happening a few years ago. And we also see, if you want to give an example of Nigeria, we noticed that Nigeria has domesticated this particular protocol a long time ago. In our Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we even have a directorate for technical cooperation in Africa. And we also have the technical aid corps. So the Global South have been exchanging ideas. Under the AU, we have the peer review mechanism, African peer review mechanism, that has been looking into what other their neighboring countries are doing to see how they can upgrade themselves by sharing information. They have been doing these things, but like I said, like I emphasized earlier, these efforts are constantly being hampered by the interventions of the same Global North that appear outwardly to be working to the liberation of the Global South. The politics there is this. Market is a competition, be it local or at the international level. Nobody wants you to come to its level. It's a competition, and we must see it that way.
What is their interest here?
The interest is that so long as you have these other countries below you, then your economy grows. It's nothing other than that. You can see the war between, even among them, between United States and China. So nobody wants you to come to your level in commerce. Everybody wants to be at the top. And this competition is not only between the United States of America and China, as you see. It is also between these major superpowers and the Global South and the countries in the South-South zone.
So looking at all of this gamut of issues which you've actually thrown up and you've raised, how can these developing countries, come together, you understand, to overcome this kind of problem? And how important is it for the South-South countries, as pointed, to work together?
Yes, it is very, very important for the South-South countries to work together and for them to understand that the Global North is not offering them sincerely the assistance for them to get out of the woods. I think it has to do with leadership. Our leadership must understand that when we run to these countries in the north to get loans every now and then, we are actually frustrating our development, because by the time we are struggling to pay back those loans in the next 20 to 30 to 40 years, the infrastructure we have collected those loans for have dilapidated. So we need more loans. So it becomes a cycle. So these countries in the global south needs to come together. But the unfortunate thing is that poverty induces illiteracy. And in an illiterate regions of the world, our capacity to recruit functional, sophisticated leadership among the South-South countries becomes a problem. That is why leadership is very critical in getting every country out of the woods. The quality of leadership is the major problem, not only in Africa, but in all the South-South countries. Look at what is happening in Guinea recently. A constitution has been tinkered upon, which may throw up problems as we get on. Look at what happened in Mali, where there is a coup in the 21st century, and that coup is a product of the quality of leadership in those countries. So the major problem we have among the South-South countries is that we don't have sophisticated leadership in the South-South countries. And without sophisticated leadership, we will not be able to think our way out of the woods.
On this note, we would like to appreciate you, Dr. Philip Afaha, Head of Department of History and Diplomatic Studies, University of Abuja, for coming on the news at 10.
Thank you very much.
All right. Now, moving on to other issues, members of the Senate Committee on Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, have visited Edo State to assess INEC's preparedness for Saturday's election. They were received by Governor Godwin Obaseki. Elizabeth Omoko reports.
The visit of the committee, led by Senator Kabiru Ibrahim, is to take inventory, assess, and appraise the funds appropriation of the Commission for a free and fair election come next Saturday.
Members from various political parties, as members of this committee, were able to look and see how prepared they are. And from the records they have given us, I believe they are ready for the elections.
Governor Gordon Obaseki expressed concerns over the election and wants the electoral umpire to reassure those citizens that the election will be free and fair.
We can't continue to nurture a democracy where voter participation is so low. It's 21 years into our democracy. We just have no choice but to continue to strengthen it.
Edo residents will, on September 19, decide who governs them for another 4 years. In Benin, Elizabeth Omako, NTA News.
And still talking politics, now the election bid of Pastor Sage Ezeyamo of APC has been taken to the Arewa community in Edo State. Now, Oduak Achibong reports on the endorsement of the APC candidate by the Muslim community in the state.
State Governor and the Chairman, APC National Campaign Council for Edo election formally introduced the APC candidate and his running mate to members of the Arewa community, explaining why they should vote for them.
This is the first time we have a pastor, a man of God, a man of peace. This pastor is now gubernatorial candidate of Edo State.
Pastor Ezeyamo said if elected, he will operate an open-door policy and create an enabling environment for them to do their business.
I assure you, we will treat you like our brothers. Any business that can support your business, we will also give to you. Whatever you are doing, that you need our assistance, know that the governor is also your brother. Don't be afraid to come at all.
Meanwhile, leaders and members of Apex Muslim Organization, the League of Imams in Edo South and North, as well as Edo Muslim women, have endorsed the Pastor Ezeyamo and Malam Ganu Audu ticket.
This ticket of APC is based on equity and justice.
The essence of this session is for us to take a common point, to adopt them. They are our candidate for Saturday election.
We are going to come out in mass to give our support to APC.
Malam Gani Audu, who stood in for his principal, Pastor Ezeyamo, promised a government of fair play where all religions will have a sense of belonging.
I pledge that I will be nice to be Muslim, and I also pledge that I will be nice to be Christian.
The APC governorship campaign team has also visited various wards in Ovia Northeast, the Ovia Southwest to canvass support. In Benin, Udrakobong Achibong, NTA News.
You're watching the news at 10 on NTA News 24, right from Abuja, the nation's capital. And still to come on the news.
Residents of Oebajo Street in Ketu, Monday.
On all our social media platforms, Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. All visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad. Or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International, your window to the world.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
This is the network service of the NTA.
You will have to jump off a cliff just knowing that you will not crash. Let me tell you, everybody has their baggage and everybody has their demon. So you might as well deal with your own demon and everything will work out fine. If you're not in control of your emotions will be in control of you.
Minimalism, I would say, is simply the financial cutting of your coat according to your clothes, or you may say size.
Well, minimalism is a lifestyle, okay, of being conservative, of spending wisely, of not being materialistic.
A life of, do I say, contentment, living within your means, like living to your need, what you need at the minute, trying to avoid unnecessary, extravagant life.
I practice minimalism by spending wisely.
Yeah, I do. I do practice minimalism.
Well, I try to get what I need. I don't just get things because I have enough money to do so or because every other person is doing it.
Since everybody really wants to consume and look flashy, no one but a few actually think about the future.
Okay, some people feel, okay, it's a good thing. They see the need to be simple. They see the need to be wise in their spending, while others see it as a limitation, limiting them from living life to the fullest.
So when you are future conscious, you are careful how you spend your money. You have savings at heart. You have investment at heart. When you have this consciousness, knowledge will teach you to actually minimize the way you spend.
Now, if I'm a person that is extravagant, I don't spend wisely. I want everything done as the money comes in. Some people will say, as it is hot.
I see people do things they didn't budget for, buy things they don't really need. They see them, they are wants, they don't need them, but they just go ahead to do them. They do most things to impress.
People that are very simple in their spending, people that are not extravagant, people that spend wisely are seen as just being stingy.
Simple people to me, because I tend to understand what it means to live within who you are, but I don't like it when you're stingy.
People who live a life of minimalism, I see them as being knowledgeable and future conscious. They are people who have come to understand that if they will secure the future for themselves and their children, they have to practice this subject matter.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Emotions with Omenasa. Yes, this is a show where I encourage you and I remind you that if you do not control your emotions will control you, and we do not want that, do we? Thank you so much for tuning in once again. Today I will be talking on minimalism. Minimalism, or if I should say it's like in the Niger accent, minimalism. But minimalism, okay? Pretty much minimalism is when you cut down on your spending, you cut down on all that you have. There was a day that I was just looking at my house, and I just couldn't believe that I have over 100 shoes. And I'm not proud of that. This is not a compliment. It is ridiculous. How can you have 10 different black skirts and 20 different black shoes and a 5 and no or how about like 20 cars? I mean, like, that is absolute insanity. And so I was disgusted at myself. Last year I found out that I was doing so much shopping. I was buying so many shoes and I was buying so many clothes, and it almost seemed like I was like possessed, because it just wasn't normal. And I suddenly realized that, you know what, something in this is off. There's something off. Having so much stuff like this, there is something off, especially when a lot of them are duplicated. Like, you kind of already have the same thing, It made me think. And then I realized that all of that shopping, all of that getting, all of that hoarding, all of that is a sign that there is something that you're covering up. And so I couldn't believe how many clothes I have, how many shoes I have. Like, people tell me, you are a presenter, you are a singer, and you do all of these things, and you're pretty much in the business of meeting people, having meetings and traveling here and traveling there and all of that. But to me, that is like really, really an atrocity. And please, like, don't think that I'm talking about like a religious sense of sin. No, but it's a sin against yourself. Like, it's a sin against your finances when you just keep hoarding and just keep getting and keep getting and keep getting and keep piling up 20 shoes and 50 shoes, 50 skirts, and it's too much. So I decided to start my journey of minimalism. And I have started very, very small. I know people who are like all the way minimalists. Like, I mean, all the way, where like they don't own TVs, like that type of minimalist. But that's not what I am talking about today, because like, I just want to encourage us to just start small. Is when I now noticed that I had all of these things, first of all, I had to ask myself, why do you have so much stuff? Why are you still buying? And I realized that there was a deficit in my life that I was hiding, and I'm not going to discuss that today, but there are certain things that are in your life that you use what you're wearing, or you probably use your makeup, or you use like that Gucci handbag, or you use that handbag, or you use that shoe, or you use all of these things, you know, the cars and the televisions and the electronics, the phones and all of that. You're using all of that to mask exactly how you feel on the inside. And there are some people that when you have so much stuff and you hoard so much stuff, it makes you feel like you're loved, you know, and that way you're distracted by the emptiness in which you feel. Now that is some people, and then like there's some people who just can't help it. They just keep shopping and keep shopping. Just like people who are addicted to eating, they just keep eating and eating. When you look at the root of that, there is something that is deficit in their lives, and they are using the food. Their psyche has channeled all of its energy into eating to deviate them from the real problem and from the main problem. When I realized that shoe shopping was a problem for me and it was an issue, I forced myself, no more shopping. No more shopping. Even if the shoe is 2 naira, I wouldn't buy it. I started to instill discipline on me, and then I went into my closet and I brought out all of my clothes. And I told myself the truth. Oh man, I said, you know that you're not going to wear this thing now. Look at the weight that you have gained. You can't fit into this dress anymore. You can't wear this trouser anymore. You cannot wear this shoe anymore. Why are you still keeping it? It is of sentimental value. It was the first dress that I wore when I turned 18. It was the dress that I wore at the funeral. It was this. No. You are accumulating stuff. You are accumulating stuff. Listen, when my mother was dying, she told me exactly what to do with all of her clothes, right? And you know what? When we buried her and everything, and I looked at all of the stuff that she had, I could not believe it. Because if her clothes and if all of her possessions could save her, she would still be alive. You are not going to paradise with any of these things. Look, I work in a medical facility, okay? To me, it is so funny how we have so many rooms for patients, but do you know that there's only one room for a mortuary? Why? Because it is of no importance. It is insignificant. One tiny small room, and they call it the holding room, where they hold the body just for a few hours, and then you're back in the dust, you're in the ground. You're not going with all of this stuff. All of these TVs and all of these phones and all of that. You're not going with all of them. I'm not going with these earrings. I am certainly not going with this dress. You are going naked. Naked. Death. Naked. And so I started to practice minimalism. I started giving out my clothes. I didn't even bother to sell them. I was just giving them out. I just gave them out. I do not buy jewelry anymore. Some of you know that I own a jewelry line. I only buy jewelry, and I buy ugly jewelry. They are not ugly to my customers, but they are ugly to me. I don't buy things that are beautiful to me that I know that I'm going to sell, because that way I will be tempted. You have to start working on yourself. Minimalism is the topic, ladies and gentlemen, is you do not have to own all of this stuff. Give out your things. Give them away. And then another thing is stop adding. You can replace. You can replace your TV. You can replace a car. We're not buying extra things, having a huge house, a huge mansion, and it's only you and your wife that live in it. Your children are going to leave. They will leave. Why do you have 10 cars? For what? Minimalism. Practice a life of minimalism. Going paperless. Like for me, I have gone paperless. Whenever I buy something, I tell them not to give me a receipt. If it is the type of company where they could email the receipt to me, then I ask for that. If they insist on giving me a receipt, I just write down the name of the store, or I take a picture of that receipt and I toss it. I don't take flyers anymore. I try so hard not to take paper. I have gone paperless. I don't accumulate paper. Even in my phone, I don't accumulate a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of files that I know that I'm not going to use. That is a life of minimalism. Is being as bare as you possibly can. Going paperless and buying the things that you need, not the things that you want. Do you really need an extra black shoe? Do you really need that extra gilly? Do you really need that extra outfit? Do you need that? Now, also, I also found out that what can aid me in this quest is because I am a TV host and I do a whole lot of singing and all of that. I could also rent dresses. I could also rent shoes. I don't have to own all of this stuff in my closet and then probably having to buy a bigger closet or having to own a bigger house so that I can accumulate all of that stuff, which of course is going to be given out anyway when I die. All of that stuff that we are accumulating, they will be given out. When you die, they will be given out, or they will be sold, or they will be grounded, or somebody else is going to own them. You can't fit into that thing anymore. Let it go. Let it go. You can't drive 7 cars. It's not possible. And why do you have all of this paper going on? For me, I just watch all my TV on my phone. Everything is on my phone. There is a TV in the house and everything, but I do everything on my phone. I watch TV on my phone. Anyway, I'm going to be back with some more tips. Thanks for listening. Welcome back to another episode of Emotions with Omenasa. We have been talking about minimalism, which is when you cut down on your spending, you cut down on the things that you own, you cut down on your clothes and on your shoes and all of that, because like I said in the first segment, I said you are not going to die with all of these things. You will not. You are probably, if your family loves you enough to even put clothes on you, then they'll put clothes on you when you're being buried. Some people are buried naked. And I'm telling you, you're still going to end up in bones and in ashes anyway. So what is the point of owning all of these things? So I started off in that segment of encouraging you to go paperless, which is something that I have started doing. When I buy something, I don't insist on a receipt. I take a picture of the receipt and I give it back to them. Or I write down the amount and the name of the store for my bookkeeping. Or I ask them to email the receipt to me. So that is just another thing that I've started doing. And I have stopped buying shoes. I don't buy shoes anymore. I don't buy jewelry anymore. Even though I own a jewelry line, because I know that is an addiction for me, I make sure that I buy jewelry that I do not like. Jewelry that I would never wear. So that way I don't get tempted to own it. And then also buying things that you need and not things that you want, and replacing instead of adding. So if you're going to buy another car, you buy that other car and you trade the other car in, or you trade the other 2 cars in. But adding another car to your 15th car and now you have 16 cars, why? It's not necessary. Now on this segment, I also want to give you some more tips. So I would suggest, that you start off with your garage. I started off with my room and I made sure that I cleaned out everything from my closet to the bathroom to everything. And I also like what my husband does. Like that man, the guy, he opens his closet every month and he raids his own closet. He sweeps out his own closet and gives stuff to people. Because he realizes, one, you are gaining weight. So it's not like you can wear that same dress or you can wear that same suit, but you're keeping it for sentimental value. Or maybe you're deceiving yourself that you will lose weight and then one day you can squeeze yourself into it. Come on. Don't do that. Exercise for your peace of mind, not so you can enter one dress or so that a dress can wear you. But really, something that I have started to practice is small. Go into your garage and start to clear out all those things in the garage. Or if you own a basement, or if you own an attic, start with those places, because you know that's where you dump all those things in. Or all of those bags. Like for me, I have a whole bunch of bags, a whole bunch of shopping bags. And I tell myself, the next time that I'm going to shop, I will now use that big bag. But I forget the next time. And then I bring home another big bag. And now I have over 100 bags. I also told you how I have over 100 shoes. It is not a compliment. I am actually ashamed of that. Why do you have all of those shoes? For what? Why do you have all of those cars? All of that? No. And there is something about owning a whole bunch of stuff. There is an element of possession with that. There's an element of power. You know, there is something that you feel on the inside of you, like you feel like you are in control. Maybe you grew up with having really little to nothing, you know, so now you've told yourself that you're going to gather all of these things. But I'm telling you, the best thing that you can gather is your peace of mind. I would also say that invest more in traveling the world. All of that money that you're using to be buying shoes and whatever, nowadays, apart from when I'm being invited to sing and to speak and everything like that, I just wake up and I travel. I wake up and I travel. I am going to Germany, I am going to Paris, I am going to Canada. I just wake up and travel. I come to Nigeria, I go to London. Just wake up and travel. All of that money that you're using on all of that frivolity, you can use it to expand your mind and explore the world, because this world is very, very big. When you travel, it opens your mind up to possibilities and you get to see the vastness of this world. So you can add that to your list of buying. You can buy a plane ticket rather than buying another shoe. You know, you can buy a plane ticket rather than buying another shoe. Buy a vacation package rather than buying another dress, rather than buying another trouser, and hoarding and keeping all of this stuff. Give your stuff away. Give your stuff away. And then something that has been helping me is that I started a gratitude journal. Every day I write down in this journal everything that I acquired in that day. And I am beginning to notice that there is so much that I'm gaining in a day, more than all of these shoes and these clothes and this makeup and these earrings and these phones and all of that. I am gaining knowledge. I am meeting people on a daily basis. I am gaining opportunities and people are calling me and I'm having conversations. Becoming a minimalist has helped me to be more present. I am more present with people because I'm not holding on to things, but I'm holding on to relationships. I am holding on to friendships. I am holding on to organizations. I am holding on to structure. I am holding on to my marriage. I am holding on to the things that matter, because everything else is frivolous and everything else will die. Everything else will perish. But the memories that you build when you travel, the memories that you build in your home, the memories that you build in your life, those are the things that will stick. Beginning to watch TV now on my phone is like, it's so liberating. It's just so liberating to me. Yes, of course, I still have to pay for service and all of that, and monthly service, monthly subscription and all of that, but it is at my beck and call. I can hold the phone and I am watching it. I don't have to have this whole big screen TV. I mean, like, I will tell you something, no, and I know that my husband is watching. I will tell you something. We have not resubscribed, though. We have not. Why? Because money is going into other things. Every time that I remind my husband, are you not going to subscribe? He tells me, I beg, baby, we need money for other things. And that has made me realize that, whoa, okay. So the TV is not even that important as we thought it was. There are many things that you own in your life that are not as important as you thought it was. And all of those things that you're talking about, sentimental value. Okay, but I mean, owning 3-4 blankets because your grandmother owned that blanket, then your husband owned that blanket, then that was the blanket that they used in giving birth to you. So now you have 4 blankets and you're using all of them on the same bed and you're wondering why you're hot. Haba. No. Cut down. Minimalism. Practice that lifestyle. Cut down. Buy the things that you need, not the things that you want. And practice replacing rather than adding. Think about going paperless. Clean up your garage. Clean up your car. Clean up your phone. Clean up your surroundings. Let your space breathe. Have candles in your house and incense in your house, and open the windows. And I mean, like, don't worry about clothes and shoes having to block common fresh air. There is so much stuff in your room that you can't even have fresh air. Come on. When it's time to go to an event or something, now you have 20 million shoes to choose from. Sometimes less is more. You don't have to buy that ashebi. You do not need an extra outfit. Trust me, It is okay. Yes, I know all of your pictures will look like you're wearing the same outfits. Okay, so I'm not telling you to become so ridiculous to where you own only 3 outfits. No, that's not what I'm saying. But come on, if you don't need it, don't buy it. If you don't need it, don't accumulate it. Give it out. Start a clean page. Start a gratitude journal. The more you are grateful for, the less you would feel the need to acquire. Remember, sometimes all of that getting and all of that wanting is a subconscious form of masking a deficit that is on the inside. Let's not fill ourselves up with possessions and filling ourselves up with power, filling ourselves up with control, because we're not going to die with all of those things. Like I was telling you, when my mother died, I was still looking at all her things, kuro like that. She went on her own. In fact, a few days to the funeral, the the funeral home called me because I was so enveloped with everything that I was doing in planning her funeral. I completely forgot to send them an outfit that she would wear. And they called me and they made a joke and they said, oh, I guess we're going to be burying her naked. And I was like, oh my gosh. I completely forgot that she was going to wear an outfit or that she needed to wear an outfit. Why? Because she had already died. And there were bigger things to do. And the bigger things to do was in honoring her and making the bulletins and the flyers and all of that. All of those things were bigger than an event that had already taken place because she was already with her maker. So she didn't go with all of those things. And because I knew that she always liked a specific soap, I opened the casket and I put like over 5 of those soaps inside the casket just for sentimental value. But the soaps, all of the soaps have been eaten up by now. They've gone back into the dust. You understand? So, I mean, come on. Let's just practice a life of minimalism. Let us possess knowledge, love, rather than possessing things. Thank you once again for tuning in to another episode of Emotions with Omenasa. Until next time.
You will have to jump off a cliff just knowing that you will not crash. Let me tell you, everybody has their baggage and everybody has their demon. So you might as well deal with your own demon and everything will work out fine. If you're not in control of your emotions will be in control of you.
Hello and welcome. It's time for another interesting package of
Everything Music.
Angelina, you dey cool in my temperature. If you call, I go come deliver.
This is Talkie Movies.
In times of old, the world was full of wonder.
No.
Stop it! Welcoming you to your weekend for today.
Arise, oh compatriots. It's time to use our voice.
Beyond 6 Packs.
Bills.